I watched a video on YouTube the other day. It was a public debate on politics at a bar in Nashville with what I think was supposed to be a right-winger, a left-winger, and a moderate. Obviously, it was a bar, so you had people drinking and heckling and some heavy emotions. People were shouting questions, arguing, taking sides. But what stood out to me wasn't the points being made, it was the tone, the anger. And sure, maybe some of that came from the alcohol, or I think some of it did come from the alcohol, but it wasn't just frustration or passion. It was this kind of anger that stops being about ideas and starts being about people. And that's when I realized that somewhere along the way, not only have we crossed into hatred, but I think we've gotten comfortable there. It's not just that anger has turned into hate, it's that hate has become familiar. And that's part of the background noise now. And that's dangerous, because anger on its own can be useful. It can wake people up. It can make us care about things we used to ignore. But hatred doesn't want to fix anything. Hatred just wants someone to lose. You know, I've always tried to understand where the line really is between anger and hatred. They feel close. They both burn. They both cloud judgment. But I think the difference is what they move you toward. Anger says, I don't like what's happening here, something's wrong, and I want to do something about it. It can focus you, even motivate you to fix what feels unfair. That doesn't mean that anger can't make you do stupid things. It absolutely can. But it depends on how you decide to use it, whether you let it control you or whether you learn how to focus it. Hatred's different. I don't think you really get a choice with hate. Once you hate something or someone, it takes over. You can't reason with it. You can't use it for anything good. I actually kicked myself a little after doing my Ghost of Mississippi video on my other playlist, because I forgot to mention one of my favorite movie lines in that movie. It was one that shaped how I see hatred. It's when Myrlie Evers talks about her husband, Medgar Evers. She says that he once told her, "There's no point in hating people. Half of them don't know, and the other half don't care." That line stuck with me, because since I first heard it, I can't think of one time in my life when hate has ever been useful. But it has absolutely drained me before, and it's also made me do stupid things. Anger can sometimes wake you up. Hatred just shuts you down. Now, I want to be clear, this isn't a moral lecture. I'm not saying you're a bad person for hating someone. Emotions aren't moral failures, they just are. They're shaped by experience, by pain, by misinformation sometimes, but they're still human. What matters is what happens next. Because when hatred starts to drive policy, when it starts shaping how leaders govern, that's when it stops being personal and starts being dangerous. I don't want a policymaker motivated by hatred. Not in speeches, not in decisions, not in any sense of the word. But honestly, I don't want one motivated by too much empathy either. The kind that becomes so emotionally invested in someone's pain or struggle that they stop seeing the full picture. Extreme emotion on either end clouds judgment. Too much empathy can make leaders sentimental or afraid to make hard choices. Too much hate makes them reckless. I don't need a robot in charge either. I just need someone thinking clearly. Someone who can feel enough to understand, but still step back and plan. Good governance requires foresight. Thinking 5-10 years ahead, not just reacting to today's outrage cycle. It's okay for the public to feel angry, even furious. That's part of being human, like I said before, especially when life feels unfair. But policymakers have a different job. They can't afford to live in that same emotional space. Their job is to cool things down, not add more fire. Because hate doesn't die on its own. It needs someone, especially in power, to decide not to feed it. I actually talked about this in yet another movie video that I'm releasing the same week as this video, intentionally. It's a Lessons in Movies episode on Guess Who's Coming to Dinner. There's a line in that film where Sidney Poitier's character says to his father, "And not until your whole generation has laid down and died will the dead weight of you be off our backs." That line hits me every time because it's a reminder that hate is inherited. It's not natural. It's passed down, but it doesn't have to be. And I think the same is true in politics. If we keep teaching hate, if we keep rewarding it, we'll keep inheriting it too. Anger can push us to demand better, but hatred will make sure we never get it. And I think we've got enough people angry already. What we need now are people clear-headed enough to lead them somewhere better.